It's 12 noon GMT in Ghana and Sierra Leone. A very good afternoon to you and thanks for staying with us. It's Midday Live with me, Nanikia Mensah-Brampa. Coming up this afternoon, President Akufo-Addo to hold talks with Togolese opposition parties on the political crisis in that country. Also coming up in business, consortium of financial institutions with majority shares in ADB Bank pledge their shares, proceeds, entitlement and voting rights to Unibank. And later, voting underway in Sierra Leone to elect successor Ernest Bai Koroma. Now we will cross over to that country for updates soon to look at how the voting process is ongoing. So we have the detail of these plus other stories in sports and entertainment all in the next hour. Stay with us. Remember, you can stay interactive with us on TV3 Ghana, Twitter and Facebook. We're also streaming live there. Let's quickly cross over to Togo, and we understand over 14 Togolese opposition leaders are in Ghana for continued talks with President Akufo-Addo in a bid to find solutions to the Togo crisis. Now, this meeting will be another move after his previous attempts to broker peace in Togo after some 2 attempts. The visits by the opposition leaders is at the behest of Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo, who has been leading mediation efforts in the lingering political crisis in Togo. Now, in February this year, the Togolese government and the coalition of 14 opposition political parties agreed to implement a number of measures aimed at building trust and confidence amongst the political actors in Togo. Now, this was contained in a communique issued on Monday, February 19, 2018, at the end of the first dialogue meeting held between the parties. And so we're being joined on phone now by John So, who is the organizer of the Togolese in Diaspora, Ghana. We're grateful for your time, sir. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Now, you just concluded a meeting in Dakar, Senegal. Did you discuss the ongoing talks there to resolve the crisis in Togo?
Yeah, obviously.
And what came out of that discussion?
Yes, it's basically how to re-strategize the diaspora, all the Togolese, the world, how we can work together to have a peaceful transition in Togo, and how best we can work for our country, Togo. So that's basically the conference we just held in Dakar, Senegal.
All right. Now, Ghana's President Akufo-Addo has been mediating talks, and on Tuesday, 14 opposition political parties are to come to Accra for further talks. Are you also hopeful of the success of these talks?
Yes, we are very hopeful about that. Because the last time he went to Togo and to start the discussion, all the parties agreed to have to hold on some of the things they are doing, as the opposition to stop the demonstration and the government to stop all the preparation toward the referendum. But what we noticed is as soon as the President Akufo-Addo left, the government started the preparation of the referendum again. And today, the meeting our leaders are having with the president, we hope they will talk about this issue and they will have they find a solution about it.
Now, the opposition wants President Faure to step down, but we do not want to have any vacuum in that space. Do you want to plunge the country into crisis for that matter?
Not as such, because I think we are still in the negotiation, and they will have to find a solution about whether or not the president will leave now, or even if it can stay till the 2020. We will have all this will be among the discussion that they are having. So I don't think the country will go in chaos if such solutions have to happen. Yeah.
Right, John, we are grateful for your time this afternoon. John Sowo is the national organizer of Togolese in Diaspora Ghana, and we're looking at follow-up developments, talking about talks to end the crisis in Togo. Let's come back to look at issues going on here in Ghana. And the Independence Square serves as a host to several national events and gatherings, and as the country marked its Independence Day, it was no different. Now thousands thronged the square for the nation's 61st anniversary celebrations. Johnny Hughes visited the Black Star Square here, and he brings us this report.
The Black Star Square, also known as the Independence Square, is bordered to the east by the Christiansborg Castle, the west by the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. The Accra Sports Stadium sits to its north, while the Gulf of Guinea borders it to the south. The Independence Square was commissioned by Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, in 1961, in honor of the visit of Queen Elizabeth II of Great Britain. The square is an important center of attraction and a point of convergence for Ghana's Independence Day and May Day parades, as well as some major national public gatherings and national festivals like church services, concerts, and monthly Women Aglow prayer sessions. A 30,000-seater capacity comprising 8 stands, the Black Star Square can boast of the Independence Arch, which houses the presidential days, the Black Star Monument, the statue of the proverbial heroic Ghanaian soldier, and the Perpetual Flame Stand. It is a real sight to behold from afar and a major tourist attraction. But what is the inside story, and how safe is it? And can it continue serving the purpose for which it was constructed? On the eve of the 61st independence anniversary of Ghana, the Community Connect team visited the Black Star Square to observe preparations for the celebrations. We didn't struggle to identify various degrees of visible cracks in the stands, under the stands, in the gutters, and even under the walkways. The sitting area at the 57-year-old edifice has more cracks than its age, yet it continues to play host to thousands of Ghanaians and foreigners alike, including children of school-going age. The cracks are on every side, presenting a risky picture. The iron rods, supposed to be concealed in the concrete, are visible. Not even the presidential section reserved for the most important man in Ghana is free from cracks and what seems like a prolonged neglect. Surprisingly, the president is often not up there alone. Other presidents and esteemed visitors of our beloved nation are also hosted there, including high-ranking officials of state and other very important personalities. This door had almost fallen off, since one of the hinges supposed to hold it in place was not available as at the 5th of March. The gutters have their own share of the cracks. The slabs and the waste pipes tell a sorry story that must be heard by all and sundry and fixed immediately. The terrazzo steps that leads to the Perpetual Flame Stand that plays a significant role during the independence festivities cannot hold on anymore, so they have given up and are falling apart. They are shaky. This access bridge tells its own story, a story of gradual decay concealed under the guise of a wooden bridge. And where are the seats? Who took them? Do they know that it cost us an arm and a leg to install them? Who has the duty of care to protect our investments? Will Dr. Nkrumah be happy with how we have managed this priceless gift which he bequeathed unto us? Is this what the Black Star stands for? And oh, is this how well we can manage our own affairs after 61 years of independence from the colonial masters? Who will fix this mess?
This is the story at the Independence Square. The liberation soldier, the perpetual flame, and a beautiful emblem of independence. When hundreds of Ghanaians, and indeed thousands of Ghanaians, gather here at the Black Star Square to celebrate the efforts of our forebears, will it be in freedom and justice, or will it be in fear because of the cracks? Will they have their hearts in their mouths? What are duty bearers doing about this? Does this reflect our attitude towards maintenance? For Community Connect, this is Johnny Hughes from the Black Star Square in Accra.
Right, so polls have opened this morning across Sierra Leone as voters elect a new president and a set of political representatives for the next 5 years. Queues formed outside polling stations from midnight as people sought to cast their ballots as quickly as possible. And shortly we'll be going over to Sierra Leone. Well, let's take the story before we go over to find out how happenings are going on as voting is still ongoing.
Polls opened at 7 a.m. GMT and close at 5 p.m. GMT. Over 3.1 million people are registered to vote, a record number in the country's elections. Voters are required to be in the same place they registered and must present a voter ID card to the electoral officials at polling stations. In a statement issued on the eve of the March 7 elections, the Commission said it is ready to conduct elections in a way that is inclusive, peaceful and democratic. Today's elections will see Sierra Leonean voters vote in presidential, parliamentary and local council representatives. It is the fifth major election since the return to multi-party democracy in 1996.
Right, so talking about happenings in Sierra Leone, Fabian Swill joins us. He's a journalist in Sierra Leone and he joins us for some updates. Hello, Fabian.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi. Now, how is voting going so far in Sierra Leone?
Voting so far is going well and safe so far in most of the polling stations that I've been to. As we speak right now, I'm at one of the polling centers. I was just trying to confirm the braille they were talking about for the blind people, and that seems to be intact. So basically things are going on well, and what the National Electoral Commission next promised, the deliverables are all there. Although some of the challenges were that some of the polling centers opened like 30 minutes from about almost an hour late, but yes, the voting is going on now in most of the polling centers, and most of the centers I've been to, as you can hear the ambience in the background, most of the centers I've been to, there hasn't been any serious concern raised by the next officials, neither the security forces. So the preferences have been given to pregnant and lactating mothers, and old people, also the disabled, are given preferential treatment. Even essential services like those in uniform, the media and others, they get preferential services. They vote early and exit the polling centers. However, though, some of the restrictions by NEC is that cameras are not allowed in the polling centers. You're supposed to be at a distance of about 350 yards off the polling centers. So for this election, there are no videos and pictures allowed to be taken. But as far as peace is concerned, the electioneering process is going as peaceful as we couldn't have imagined so far. There are no reports of violence here and there, and the basic arguments as to who came first standing in the queue, those things come up, but no serious violence emerging from any part so far. Things are going well as promised by NEC. So everything is on course so far.
All right, so we are grateful for that update there, Fabian. I'm sure we would get back to you to find out when the first results will be announced after the polling ends. Well, Fabian is a journalist in Sierra Leone. Fabian Swill is a journalist in Sierra Leone, giving us up to speed or up to minute report on exactly what is happening there. But we would want to move on to the touch screen to give you a bit of how it all started, talking about Sierra Leone heading to the polls, its independence, the number of people there, and who we're expecting to represent at this poll. So right there, now let's quickly look at Sierra Leone gaining independence on April 27, 1961, and well, it has a population of 7,668,341 as of 2018. A number of registered voters there are 3,128,000, also 967. Now to some more on Sierra Leone, voter eligibility age is 18 years and above, same for Ghana, with 112 constituencies, well, members of parliament up to 124, with some 3,300 voting centers, and the area is 71,740 square kilometers. Well, the languages spoken there, there's English and Creole, which was derived from English, and a range of African languages there when you look into Sierra Leone. Some more information there. It has two religions there, talking about Islam and Christianity. And with regards to life expectancy, we have the men at 48 years and the women standing at 49 years when it comes to life expectancy. Now, the current president, Ernest Bai Koroma, who, has other candidates, talking about 16 aspirants, 14 men and 2 women there. Now, the major candidates are Samura Kamara, All People's Congress, APC, Julius Madabio, Sierra Leone People's Party, Kande Yumkela, National Grand Coalition, NGC, and, Kande Yumkela splits from the SLPP to form his own party last year. So these are the names that we have there. So we'll be monitoring events there in Sierra Leone and giving you more updates as and when it comes in. All right, so we're still celebrating the month of Ghana. Don't forget that the hashtag is We Celebrate G8 right here on TV3. So Ghana can boast of wildlife sanctuaries like the Wabin Fiama Monkey Sanctuary, Wenchao Hippo Sanctuary, and the Kakum National Park. Ghana is really blessed with this ecotourism sites. Why? So it's the Ghana Month, and I was telling you about what we can boast of when it comes to wildlife sanctuaries like the Wabeng Fiam Monkey Sanctuary, Wechiao Hippo Sanctuary, and the Kakum National Park. They're small, but Ghana is really blessed with ecotourism sites. However, there appears to be other interesting ecotourism sites you probably may not have visited or heard of. Well, as part of TV3's Ghana Month celebration, Kwabna Edujemfi takes us on a tour of the only waterfall in the Greater Accra region, Chenku Waterfalls at Dodowa.
Ghana has become a leader in ecotourism and is doing an amazing job at maintaining a great link between tourists, local communities and ecotourism activists. The Kakum National Wildlife Park, the Molen National Park and the Wabing Fiema Monkey Sanctuary are typical examples of tourist resorts and wildlife sanctuaries within populated communities. But it appears there are others yet to receive the same popularity following their discovery and inherent potential to improve on the country's tourism industry. Deep inside Dodowa Forest is the Chenku Waterfalls. This one sacred surrounding is named after the Chenku god, whose shrine is believed to be at Obosomase.
Chenku Falls, assassin my great grandfather dear, if I know Damite Kwapu, Otto Efro Buswanse form, that was in 1905.
My great-grandfather bought the site from the people of Obosomase in 1905 for farming. In the 1990s, we realized the place has a good tourism potential, so we started organizing holiday programs there.
But later, I feel even say you clear ho, now you do holidays, now you pay machine be sound system be bahoa, and spinning be bahoa. At least, bet my baby.
I was told in a week that the site receives about 100 visitors, while thousands of people and tourists visit on public holidays and during the annual Nganyem Festival celebrated by the people of Dodowa. Like all other revelers, I also did not get any tour guide to brief me. This man claims to be the caretaker of this place.
I have been staying here for the past 3 years farming.
Locals pay 2 cedis, while foreigners pay 5 cedis to gain access to the place. It was clear individuals had taken charge of the site and were cashing in on a disorganization in revenue mobilization, since the place is currently not under the management of the Shai Osudoku District Assembly or the Ghana Tourism Authority.
Say 500.
Roughly, about 500 Ghana cedis is made a week.
This is a typical example of what we call Sea Ghana, but little is known about the Chinku Fall due to the lack of proper maintenance and poor road network. But is there any plan at all for packaging and selling this place to the world? Every natural resource found in Ghana clearly belongs to the state. The Ghana Tourism Authority plans to develop sites with tourism potential to befitting attractions like the Woti Fall in the eastern region, since the Chinku Fall is the only waterfall in Accra and can save people from long-distance travel.
What we are concerned about is, are the people going there safe? If something happens, will they have insurance? Is there's a fire outbreak at the exit areas? When they go there, are they being told the right thing? So, for example, we are working with Tour Guides Association on re-registering all tour guides in the country.
This has the potential to put money into the local economy, since the allodial owners are already making millions of cedis from the site. TV3, Pabna Edu James.
And for us here, we are wearing Ghana, seeing Ghana, watching Ghana, and we're helping you know Ghana. Remember, the hashtag is We Celebrate GH on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Keep them coming in, and we'll also broadcast it to the rest of the world. You're watching Midday Live. Away now to some other issues, talking about utilities. The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, the PURC, on Monday, March 5, announced a 17.5% reduction in electricity tariffs for residential consumers, effective March 15. Now, the Commission has also announced a 30% reduction for non-residential consumers. Public Utilities Regulatory Commission also indicated a 25% reduction for special load tariff consumers and 10% reduction for mines. Now, the new tariff structure is expected to remain the same until 2019 when it is reviewed. The Commission did not, however, review tariffs on water. Right, so you will recall that utility service providers at a recent PURC stakeholder forum demanded about 200% upward adjustment in tariffs. So, though many are welcoming this reduction, it is equally coming as a surprise to others, especially the utility providers themselves, because their proposals have completely been rejected. Now, let's speak to General Secretary of the Public Utility Workers Union Pool, Michael Edumata Nyantichi, for his perspective on this particular one. So we are grateful for your time. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Now, did the announcement of this reduction in tariffs come as a surprise to you, especially when you demanded an upward adjustment?
It's both a mixed reaction, because we knew both the minister and the president have talked about the possibility of bringing this tariff reduction. But then we have been wondering how this was going to be done in the face of all the data available. But you realize, as you said, all the presentations made by, or the submissions by the various companies within the energy sector, virtually all requested for an upward adjustment. But then we don't know how PURC concluded their analysis and came up with this reduction. Our concern is if these reductions are going to worsen the state of affairs for the utility companies, then at the end of the day, if we are not careful, we will just be cutting our face to our nose to spite our own feet. Because if the companies are not able to operate efficiently, it will come back to bite us all. At the same time, if things are being done, which perhaps we are not yet aware of what the determinants, we will expect to see the details that PURC really considered, the factors
so, Mr. Nyantakyi,
which resulted in this reduction.
Well, Mr. Nyantakyi,
yes.
In the face of the explanation you've given, does it mean that you feel that PURC completely ignored your proposals and bowed to pressure from government? Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm not suggesting that, but that's why I'm saying that for now we haven't seen any details what really tilted the scale in favor of reduction.
Okay, so how is this? So, okay.
Perhaps maybe PURC is trying to go a certain tangent different from what the operators or the company's management look at.
Okay,
and
so on that basis, Mr. Nyantakyi.
All these things that we are doing, we are looking at realistic issues and not just anything that may be in the realm of either propaganda or political contributions, but then we are looking at facts and data that support this position. Okay,
so with this decision, how is it likely going to impact on your activities as utility providers, finally?
Well, that's what I'm saying, that for now, on the operations of the company, going forward, it's where we see whatever details. If indeed, I can speak from the angle of ECG. I know always government has been talking about efficiency. If at the generating side, a lot is being done to cut down the cost on production, and the distribution charges are not seriously going to be affected, and it will enable the company to run efficiently or to even just break even. Then we are sure we are doing something that in the long term will help the whole country.
All right, we are grateful for your time this afternoon, Mr. Nyantakyi. Well, Michael Idumata Nyantakyi is the General Secretary of the Public Utility Workers Union pool. They're giving us his perspective on that 17.5% utility reduction expected anytime soon. But you're watching Midday Live. We're taking a breather. When we return, there's more in business. Stay with us. This is Midday Live. Thanks so much for staying with us. Time for business now. Talking about Unibank ADB matters arising. Unibank has given the assurance that Agric Development Bank ADB will retain its focus on agricultural financing despite the acquisition of controlling stake by the former. Now, it is estimated that ADB is currently responsible for about 85% of institutional credit to the agricultural sector, an important backbone of Ghana's economy. And the executive director of Unibank, Clifford Metal, in an interview with TV2 Business, clarified that the development does not constitute an outright takeover. Hence, Unibank is focusing on engagement with ADB as an independent entity.
We all read or heard about the proposed merger between NIB and then ADB. As far as this arrangement is concerned, we are not looking at that. You know, we are looking at ADB as a standalone institution and focus on the way they operate, what sort of holdings they have, and so forth and so on. And that's what we are focusing on. As far as we are concerned, the ADB-NIB merger issue with government is a separate issue, which we are not addressing now. We're trying to look at ADB and the way it's performing now, look at their balance sheet health, look at how we can push it to greater heights, but just by reason of the fact that we now have a stake in that organization. So the management, the executives, the staff, the customers and everything, they will still continue to pursue what they are pursuing the same way.
All right, so some reports TV3 Business is picking up suggest that the Bank of Ghana may later today denounce as null and void the purported takeover of ADB Bank by its counterpart indigenous lender Unibank Ghana Limited. Now, the Bank of Ghana's position on the matter will be announced by the governor, Dr. Ernest Addison. A source familiar with the Bank of Ghana's position on the matter is quoted by graphiconline.com, suggesting that the stance by the banking sector regulator is informed by the fact that Unibank as an entity does not have majority shares in ADB. Now, the decision by some stakeholders of ADB to pledge their shares proceeds, entitlement and voting rights to Unibank leading to the alleged takeover was also not sanctioned by the BOG, the source added. Meanwhile, the Ghana Stock Exchange has suspended trading of shares of the Agriculture Development Bank, ADB. Now, the managing director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, in consultation with the chairman of the GSC Council, has issued a statement suspending trading in the shares of ADB effective March 7, 2018. Now, this is to allow the GSC to clarify news on the purported takeover of ADB. The investing public will be duly informed of the outcome and resumption of trading in the shares of ADB. So you want to stay right here on TV3. 3news.com will be updating you more on matters regarding Unibank ADB, Bank of Ghana. But that will do for business this afternoon. Well, thanks for staying with us. Let's still stick to some issues on banking. As lecturer at the Ghana Banking College and CEO of Universal Capital Management, Dr. Richmond Ituahene, says one major issue hurting the banking industry is lack of board independence, incompetent members serving on boards, and a lack of duty to care and loyalty. Hence, the need for a strong board. And he was speaking on TV3's business analysis program, Business Focus. He hinted that 5 commercial banks are currently receiving support in order to survive.
This issue of financial distress in the financial sector is not only the microfinance. Sorry to tell you. You're only looking at the microfinance. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. The savings and loans are in trouble. Some of the universal banks are also in trouble.
I see. The savings and loans,
some of them, Alpha
well.
Capital is in trouble. And apart from that, there are a couple of them there that were not mentioned.
Because, I mean, Alpha Capital is here.
Yeah.
Macaulay.
They only mentioned the
money lending, and the AGT microfinance, and then Man Capital microfinance.
If we dig deep into it, most of the savings and loans are in crisis. Likewise, at least from reliable source, I was told last Saturday, 5 of the universal banks are also in serious trouble, where the government, Bank of Ghana, is giving them liquidity support. Other than that, they will go like Capital Bank and UT Bank.
I mean, that same story of support was what was happening before UT Bank actually went into this particular state. And you're saying that 5
of them
other commercial banks are receiving liquidity support?
LLOR, lenders of last risk support. So clearing, they cannot even possibly meet clearing charges. So they are being supported. Very reliable source. So it's not only the microfinance that is in trouble.
Right, so away from matters on banking, the Minister of Food and Agriculture has challenged groups and individuals claiming ownership over lands belonging to the ministry to head to court, insisting demolition and eviction exercises will be intensified in the coming weeks. Now, some traditional leaders in the Dangbe state have, however, described the demolition exercise carried out by the ministry in some parts of Accra as an illegality. But Dr. Osue Akoto insists his ministry will stop at nothing to regain every land it owns from illegal occupants.
To do proper research, you need the expanse of land to do that. And these lands have been there by executive instrument, which is like, I mean, no doubt about who the ownership is. And then they have encroached and are still encroaching. The intensity is just going up by the day. And we felt that, no, we have to signal to those encroachers that they cannot take the law into their own hands. If you have any problem, go to court. And then we will be there to defend it because we have the proof of ownership. You just don't get into other people's lands and start building, without any permit, without any authority from the landowners. So that is why we moved in. And we are going to see more of these demolitions. It's all over. I mean, from Tamale to Sekandi, Takoradi, Kumasi, everywhere. They are just taking our lands.
How do you intend to deal with the resistance? Because already, we've heard some people coming out to say that these lands belong to them.
But that's a joke. They should go to court and prove their ownership. It's not for us to do. We are on the land. We've been on the land for 50 years. In some cases, more than that. So if they're not coming to say that it's their land, they should go to court.
Let's move on to MTN video reports. This afternoon, a teacher of the AC4MA Basic School in the Akuapem North Municipality in the Okere constituency reports some pupils learn under the scorching sun and is calling for help.
I'm a teacher of AC4MA Basic School. And these are the difficulties our children encounter as far as learning is concerned. Their structure got off after a heavy wind blown just last Sunday, 4th of March 2017. And they are learning under this hot sun. We need your help.
Right, so Ghana's 61st Independence Day March past was not without some light-hearted moments. Now, did you know the military actually came with an officer to entertain and cheer up the troops? Well, also Orai monitored the show and he comes through with his report.
It was a big day for the military, and yes, they were in charge. Special roles were assigned.
I take charge of the whole parade. The parade is my baby, and that is one of my basic responsibilities.
Meet Master Warrant Officer Ramos Bake.
Every time. So you can see.
His duty is to entertain and cheer up the troops when they are down and tired.
When I went, all what I said there, chanting the slogan, everybody was relieved, though they were tired on parade, but they were all relieved.
What are some of the slogans that usually when you meet your men, you chant?
There are many. Basically, every unit has its own slogan. But putting the Ghana Armed Forces, the security services together, we have to adopt one common one. That is why I chanted, Cho boy, they all respond, hey. Cho, 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 boy, they respond, hey, 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 abele. Then I sang a song, Nyamelona, Nyamelona, for ni to, hey. They all respond, ah, hey. Nyamelona, Nyamelona, for ni to, hey. Ah, hey. Nyamelona, for ni to, hey. Ah, hey. Nyamelona, for ni to, hey. Ah, hey. Basically means that we don't want cowards. We want brave men. In those days, anytime Chief Warrant Officer Frimpong Isaac, being a First Sergeant Major, is asked to chant slogan, he go to ask permission to hele the troops.
What is hele?
To chant slogan to motivate the troops.
Next time you hear hele, don't get confused. It simply means to motivate, cheer up, or boost the morale of soldiers.
So I'm going to be leading the motivation. Oza mena 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 mena. Oh, Zamina, Abele, Abele, Kumasi Bantama, Abele, oh,
Zamina, Abele,
Mahoma,
Well, I don't know if Owusu-Orai's height will permit him to join the military, but he may consider that. You're watching Midday Live, and let's do some international news now. As 14 Togolese opposition leaders are in Ghana for continued talks with President Akufo-Addo in a bid to find solutions to the crisis. Well, Komla Kluche is our correspondent, and he's been following up on these talks, and he joins us in the studio to give us some updates. Komla, what really have you gathered so far regarding these talks with the 14? Yeah, have the number right.
Right. The latest to it is that at 2 p.m. in just a couple of, 1 hour, they would be meeting the president. I have met with the 14 Togolese opposition leaders. Now, the question I posed to them was, what are they going into the meeting with, most especially when there was a communique that was issued at the last meeting held in Togo, which the president of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, mediated. They said they are not backing down on their demands that the 1992 constitution should be restored. For them, it is the only thing that can restore power and dignity. He used the word dignity to the people of Togo. And I asked again, okay, so since the communique was issued, did they get the sense that the ruling party or the direction as sought by the communique has been adhered to strictly? Well, members of the opposition are alleging that it has not been strictly adhered to. These concerns, they say, are some of the things they are going to put across to the president of Ghana and stand on it firmly to push for the restoration of the 1992 constitution. The meeting is just for 1 day, as we spoke with the presidency yesterday. After today, they will move back to Togo, and then in subsequent days, there's a likelihood that the president may call the governing party again to have meetings with them.
I know you had the opportunity to interact with the leader, Nathaniel Olympio. Yeah. What did you gather? Are there still calls for Fonya Singh to still step?
I mean, absolutely. And they insisting that the 1992 constitution should hold grounds. What it means is that it would pave way for Ford to step down. One question I also asked them was whether the posturing of the Ghanaian leader was one that showed leadership for them to have confidence in him. They were very absolute to say that they have confidence in the president of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to lead the mediation. They have every belief in him, that in him, he is the one to lead the effort to restore the 1992 constitution that will see an end to the dynasty of the Nyasingbes. All
right, Komla, we are grateful for your time. Komla Kluche is our correspondent who is following updates on talks, talking about the 14 Togolese opposition leaders who are meeting President Akufo-Addo here. Well, Komla will be following on that particular bit and giving us more updates as and when the talks go, what really happens in that talks and matters arising. Also, we'll be giving you more updates regarding the ongoing elections in Sierra Leone as and when they're coming. If first counting goes on, trust us on 3news.com and right here on all our platforms on Media Journal, TV3, 3FM, as well as all the platforms. You get all the detail there. Remember again that you can send your comments in on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and Twitter, and we're still celebrating Ghana. The hashtag is WeCelebrateGH. My name is Nanekia Mensah Bampa. Do have a good afternoon and enjoy your lunch.